Happy Saturday. Good morning. Okay, so I'm in a different location today. I happen to be outside drinking my coffee. It's actually my second cup of coffee today because I'm exhausted, and I'm going to tell you why. Now, one thing to know about me is that I happen to be in an industry, specifically technology, that is very difficult for women to be in. Why is that important? Because I'm in that, like, practically it feels like 1% of women who work in the technology field. I won't name the company that I work for, but it's not an easy place to stay. One thing that's funny about this company is they're a huge company. Just gonna say that right off the bat. But they act like they're so inclusive, and they send out things that they're like, oh, look how many women we have working for us. Look how many black people we have working for us. Look how many, and it's hilarious because it's like, you guys know you have a problem. It's there's a cultural problem there. A lot of, and this is not really, because this is about bullying, and so this isn't about like, oh, we need more other ethnicities, but I will say they definitely need more women. In my team right now, there's not a lot of women. Now, I'd say that my boss is not, I don't see any issues there women-wise, but at the end of the day, there should just be a quick review of all of the teams across the board and check on how many women there really are, because there's a lot of qualifications, there's a lot of qualified women who are looking for these jobs, especially now, and they're not getting hired. And I can tell you right now, because of the type of job that I have had, being in this industry for so long, I have to say, I'm not perfect by any means. I make plenty of mistakes on a daily, but I work hard, and I try my very best constantly, with kids, with a husband, with a family, a home and everything. And I do that oftentimes better than some of the men around me. Some of the other men around me are amazing, and I look up to them, and I'm constantly asking them questions and trying to learn. But there are others who think they are practically like, I don't know, a god? I'm not sure what they think they are, but they act like that, and it's pretty sad. But let's get into the topic of workplace bullying. So, one thing I found out while I was actually looking into all of this is that workplace bullying has been such a big part of my life that I can actually go through every single manager that I've had and ask myself, did they bully me? And majority, I think, out of all the managers that I have had, intentionally, knowingly, all of them but 2 have bullied me in particular. But that doesn't mean that they were just bullying me. A lot of these managers also bullied a lot of the people around them. And recently, and one of the reasons that I look so tired is because of workplace bullying. Very recently, I'm sorry for the shaking of the camera. Very recently, I've been extremely bullied at work. Now, the person who's been bullying me in particular I know he's doing it unknowingly. I don't think he realizes that he's actually a bully. And he bullies everybody. He's actually spoken about, yes, behind his back, but it's more of this is how you handle him because he's a bully situation. So that's how bad it is. And I'm going to get into a couple things about workplace bullying, and I'm going to actually get started with the types of workplace bullying. But in general, these are also just types of bullies, but specifically to the workplace, so think about it in that aspect. Types of bullies. The verbal bully, who likes to say jokes, gossip. Yeah, ladies out there, if you're gossiping at work, you might be a bully. Because what are you saying? It's not okay to just talk about somebody behind their back, especially if they're not really doing anything. Men, you do it too. Seen it, I know it. No gossiping. Because that's why. Mockery. These are types of verbal bullying. Then there's intimidation. I have it all written down. You guys know how I am. I like my handy dandy notebook, and I use my handy dandy notebook all the time. I'm old school. I want the actual written word. Intimidation, threats, social exclusion. There's some spying, invasion of privacy. I remember one of my bosses asked me what my relationship was with one of my coworkers, and I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I think that's a little inappropriate to be asking me what type of relationship we have. That has nothing to do with the job. And we were friends. That's it. So you saw me talking to this individual, it's because we were friends. Why do you need to know that? It had nothing to do with the job. Literally, nothing. Related to work performance, that same exact manager, oh, this was a big vice of his. Wrongful blame, work sabotage, taking credit for ideas. This is what he did all the time. And I've had a lot of people around me take credit for my ideas, or just in general. One of the things that I have to deal with a lot right now as a woman is I'll say something like on a call, and somebody else will say it right after me, like it was just their idea, like right after I just said it. And then everyone's like, ooh, wow, really? And I'm like, I just said that. Are you kidding me? So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of that too. Let's see, what else? Retaliatory. They accuse you of lying. They further the exclusion socially or just in the job in general. They refuse promotion. Have seen that one. That one hasn't happened to me, but I have literally seen that from a female manager to her male employees. And institutional, and this is what I wanted to kind of get at when I first started talking about the types of bullying. This is the company that I work for, absolutely institutionally accepts and keeps that bullying going. Now, they say they won't because they have the HR department, but it's an HR department, even this huge company, where they label you. The moment you go to HR, well, now you're a snitch. You're somebody who's going to be talking like that, and you're a liable issue for them. So they put you on a list, even if they say they don't. Yes, they do. They do, because I've seen it. I haven't seen a list, but I've definitely seen where somebody will have said something and try to get out of a situation, and because they were honest about the situation and trying to deal with it the right way, I haven't seen them get a promotion even to this day of where they are. Or it took many years before they were able to get to a promotion, and it had nothing to do with their job performance because I worked with these people all the time. And goodness, I've seen it where like these are some of the best people on their team and they're not getting promoted, but somebody who's a horrible person on the team and probably even the bully has gotten promoted. I have seen the bad people get promoted. So just these things happen. And institutionally, shame on you. We are people, we are human beings. How are you doing this? It's not okay to be a bully, but my husband and I were just talking, literally right before I started recording this, about how the technology industry is just full of bullies. He says aggressive people. And I think that's part of the problem. They think they're just being aggressive and trying to get the job done. No, you're actually bullying. You just don't realize it. And let's get into what some bullying is too. Not just the different types, but like, how do you know you're being bullied? Are you experiencing targeted practical jokes? Are you experiencing, I'm reading, purposely misled work duties coming your way, incorrect deadlines or unclear direction, but on purpose, remember that part. Continual denial of requests when you're asking for time off, and you know that everybody else is getting the time off, but you can't get any time off. Threatening in a way where you're getting humiliated. They're specifically monitoring your performance excessively, and you know what I mean excessively. Or they're really harsh and giving you some serious criticism. I've experienced all of that, and recently the experience has been specific to my actual work. The bully that I've been dealing with, and the reason why I look so haggard is because it takes an emotional toll, it really does. And let me get into myself for a moment, because I try not to bring my personal life into work. I keep my job as as non-baby life as it is. But for me, I took on a new role, and it was a month after my daughter was born. So I took a week off, not 6 weeks, didn't take real maternity leave, I just took a week of sick time. And I was back at work. I did that because that's kind of what I had to do. I didn't have the time. I couldn't really just take maternity leave either. It's not that cut and dry. So took a week off, came back, found out that I needed to take on this additional responsibility. Now, I didn't have any issues with that. That's fine. I have now been in this, doing my actual job and doing the new job for like 6 months or less, I'm not sure, something around that, and doing my absolute best with it. I definitely made mistakes in the very beginning because I just had a baby and I was learning like right after. I'm still healing. I mean, late nights, it was hard, and I know that I made those mistakes. I'm a whole lot better at a lot of things now, but the bully decided to go after the department that I happen to be in. We're not in the same department. And instead of going directly towards the bosses and talking about his concerns, he went after specifically my work performance. I had made a mistake. It was only the second time I'd ever made that mistake. And it was actually pretty easy to understand why I did, because there was one specific place I needed to look in order to see if something was there. And because I hadn't, because I didn't really know to do that, it had the mistake. Easy. I now know, issue solved. I've done hundreds of these, and I made 2 mistakes. And because of that, he tried to use that as an example and turned into this huge thing about my job, my performance. You're on a call about your job with a bunch of people to sit there and scrutinize your job. It is some of the most demeaning moments ever. And it didn't matter if that was intentional or not. Unfortunately, because I think he really was just trying to go at the department and say, hey, we've been dealing with a lot of different issues. But you came at the person who has actually had the least amount of mistakes and doing the best job that they actually could, but you took the opportunity to go after me. And that's not okay. You need to do things the right way, and if you are ever watching this person, but that's the truth. Like you have to know how to bring up the issues if you need to bring up issues. A bully is not going to do that. A bully is just going to go after whoever they can, bring them down in order to get what they want and how they want it. And what that person did was make me feel the worst possible way about myself and my job, even though I have done above and beyond time and time again. These people have asked me for things to be done immediately. I need it now, and I've given it to them. And yet they're still trying to scrutinize my work, to the point of they were asking for people to review my work before they even get it, and they want to know exactly how we plan on doing that. You're not even in the same group. How are you going to do? I mean, that's a little inappropriate because I made a mistake. Like, after months? Are you kidding me? That's excessive monitoring of someone's work. That's not okay. It's really not. And, on a personal note, that person is definitely no longer allowed in my life because I won't allow toxic people like that in my life. That doesn't mean I don't have them in my life. I have them. It's annoying, but sometimes you have to have certain people in your life no matter what. So, anyways, this is what workplace bullying really is. I'm experiencing it literally right now. You can see it's taking a toll on me. And I'm not going to just sit back and relax. It doesn't mean that I'm going to do necessarily something in the actual job, but I have my little ways of getting through things and getting to the next level. For me, it's like somebody does something, you just put a bigger fire under me to make it bigger and better and higher and faster to do that, because that's my little spark I need. And that's why I've actually thrived in this specific industry. And that's something we need to teach a lot of our girls. Don't back down just because somebody's bullying you. You can continue to go, and you can continue to make it very far. And your work and your worth have nothing to do with anything other than you. If you're putting in the time and effort, then it's a good enough job, honestly. Now, I do want to give tips about what they say to do on the internet, because I do the research before I even say anything. They do say 70% of bullies are male and 30% are female. I have definitely been bullied by women as well. Women, quick little thing, one way that you may be bullying other women and you're not even realizing it. Do not talk about the way that they are dressed if they are dressed professionally enough. It doesn't matter whether or not you like the outfit or think that that's an appropriate outfit for that job. If it's professional, they're not showing any skin. And when I mean professional, if they're wearing professional attire, no, you have no right to talk about their outfit. Their hair, that's not okay. You can't talk about someone's hair, especially if it's professional. You don't like that someone's bangs are in their eyes, is what they said to me. Inappropriate, you shouldn't be talking about that. It's someone's hairstyle and it's not inappropriate, and if that person can see clearly, I don't see why that's a problem that they have bangs. Inappropriate. Also, you can't ask for somebody not to work a specific time, and if they go overtime or they don't go overtime, I mean, you have to, it's not okay. For me, they wanted me to leave exactly at 5 o'clock. They didn't want me to stay, but then if it was a specific circumstance, they're like, you should have stayed. But you told me I have to leave exactly at 5 o'clock. So I'd get in trouble for leaving at 5, or I'd get in trouble for not leaving at 5. It didn't matter. And that's bullying. It was a horrible circumstance, but that was my women managers, and you need those women managers to know you are bullying. If you're not giving somebody a raise because you don't like, or a promotion because you don't like what somebody is doing, or you don't agree with their life, or you think that they're more difficult to work with, not okay either. You can't bring your personal feelings and decide how that person is going to progress into their lives, or the fact that they may want to leave your team. Let them leave. Let them progress. My daughter is crying. I gotta go. Okay, daughter is now in a good circumstance. She is with her father. She's no longer crying because she woke up from her nap. So let's get back to it, and let's get into the actual what to do. This is what they say to do in the actual workplace. Document it. Save physical evidence. Report it. Confront the bully. Review workplace policies. Get a lawyer. Reach out to coworkers, loved ones, etc. Now, I'm sure somebody who's being bullied right now is going to hear all those things and go, that's not going to work. And you might be right, and I'm going to add to that list and say, find another job. For me, if I were to continue in another job working for in the exact same area, I'm going to experience the same things. So if I want something different, I want to get out of the situation, I need to actually leave at least the market. Other than that, I can go into a completely different industry entirely for me not to have to deal with it anymore. And you may have to do the same. Depending on what type of industry you're in, you may have to think about that. It might just be part of that industry. That doesn't make it right. It just means that that's how you're going to get away from that type of horrible behavior. Or you get that lawyer and you make it very clear, even institutionally, I'm not going to deal with that. But anytime that you do go to the institution, you do need to make sure that that institution is not going to hurt you and your career because you did. Even though that's not on the list, it's very important to know exactly where that institution stands. So ask around, but don't necessarily reference yourself if you want to see how the institution is going to go. And then workplace, like coworkers and contacting them, sometimes it does help because you can find out that other people are dealing with the same thing. I kind of found out that way about a few people that I had been bullied by, and I was like, hey, are they actually a nice person? And I've been told, like, oh, they're not. They're really mean and stuff like that. So it does help. And that's not gossiping, by the way. You're trying to find out if somebody's behavior is just towards you, and you're trying to gauge what you need to do next. So if you're asking about something, just make sure that you are doing things in a professional manner. There's no reason to gossip, and there's no reason to start talking in a bad way about anybody, especially in the job, because then you will be the next bully. Anyways, I hope this helps out a lot of people. I'm probably going to do another one to give you guys an update on how I'm doing with my specific bullying and my industry and everything. I'll be completely honest, if I could do Gbrlife 100% of the time and never have to step foot in my job again, because of the type of workplace bullying and just things that I've been dealing with, I personally would leave. And if any of my coworkers are watching this, which I don't think they are, I mean, that's all you. That's on you guys, because I definitely would not want to leave the job. I like my job. I like the things that I do, but you all make it pretty difficult to do my job sometimes. Again, being a woman in a man's world is not easy, and men often forget that. And I'm not saying all these men are like horrible men and they all treat me badly or whatever. I'm not a victim. There's a lot of great guys that I work with, but at the same time, there's a lot of guys who are just like, are you gonna get the coffee? Yeah, oh, there's some admin stuff that needs to be done. Oh, Caitlin can do it. It's like, you're not even my boss. Why are you telling me to do admin work? I'm an engineer and a project manager, so that's not my job. Why can't you get the coffee? Why can't you do the admin work? And I mean like real admin work. I'm not talking about like, you know, hey, can you fill out this spreadsheet real quick, because that's part of your job. Anyways, I could rant for days, and I'm not going to. But I am there with you, anybody who's getting bullied. I am there with you. I feel it, I understand it. And if you want to talk about it or tell me anything about what you're going through, please feel free to. I would love to continue this topic, and I really will do another episode about this for an update. You know, maybe in another month you guys know where I am and what's going on with this. I'd love talking to you guys. Can't wait to talk to you guys next Saturday. And remember, there's always new content on gbrlife.com. And there's also my podcast, Gbrlife of Crimes. And I'm pleased to announce Gbrlife of Crimes Season 1 is about to end. But of course, it's going to continue just in another couple months. But I'm going to start up Gbrlife of Parenting, because I want to reach all of you parents on another level, especially in podcast world. There's a lot I have to say, clearly. Another long video. Anyways, gbrlife.com, Gbrlife of Crimes. Soon to be Gbrlife of Parenting, and you guys are watching the vlog. So, can't wait to talk to you guys next week. Until then, bye. Talk soon.